You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to take a load off. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to blow some smoke off. Woke up with the light to spare like unwashed hair. Coffee washed me so I can look in the mirror. Mercury retrograde, nothing's going my way. Just so happens today's my birthday. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to take a load off. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to blow some smoke off. Broke up with my man, he was dragging me bad. We still live together, that month lasted forever. Now that it's over, he's acting all nice. Bought me birthday presents, if he'd done that sooner, I could have been his wife. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to take a load off. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to blow some smoke off. Sometimes I smoke cause I'm happy, sometimes I smoke cause I'm sad, sometimes I smoke cause it's handy, sometimes I smoke cause I'm mad. Sometimes I need your love and sometimes I need to run to the hills. Sometimes I want somebody to give me some pills. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to take a load off. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to blow some smoke off. Some days are bad, some days are worse. Some days I think my life's under some kind of curse. Nothing is right and everything is wrong. What did I do to have to write this song? You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to take a load off. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to blow some smoke off. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to take a load off. You know it's time. You know it's time, time, time. Time to blow some smoke off.
When I came out of the closet at 19, I had a number of fantasies about how my new life as a strong and independent lesbian would go. None of those fantasies had me being knocked up by a dude at 24. But life is full of surprises.
Hello and welcome to Relaxin with Rachel. This is our very first episode ever and we are so stoked to have you join us. My name is Rachel Kirkpatrick and I am your host. What you just saw was a little clip of Inconceivable, which is a television show that myself and the father of my child co-created. And it begins with a line that is the story of my life. And so today our theme for our show is coming out.
Yay!
So we're going to share our coming out stories. Both Sawyer and myself have come out so far in this life twice. So myself once as a lesbian and then once as pregnant, and then Sawyer as a lesbian.
And then as a trans man. So
As a man.
Again, yeah.
So we're gonna share our stories with you. We are so stoked to have you here. A little bit about me, just to start. When I came out of the closet at 19, like the show said, and
Actually, I didn't know your coming out story. So
I know,
I'm
I'm excited too. I was like, thinking,
I've known you for
there's
years.
so
I
much
don't
to
really
say.
know.
It's like, where do you?
Where do you start?
We'll delve
get
into
there.
it, I'm sure. But yeah, I came out of the closet at 19. When I was 24, I was had a non-committed friendship dude.
Non-committed.
I struggle to say casual relationship because I don't believe, or like casual sexual relationship, but because I don't really believe sex in and of itself is a casual situation.
That's true.
But we were not committed to each other in any way. We stopped sleeping together. A week later, we found out we were pregnant, and then it was sort of a red or a blue pill situation. Do we keep it? Do we not?
Right.
In the end, we decided to keep the cell clump, and we have a 9-month-old baby.
I have to fix the comment thing.
Okay. And cool. You can just do whatever. We'll just keep going. And our producer is going to do something right now.
I'm so sorry.
baby.
There's a little
Oh
issue.
yay, baby! And this is the cell clump in the flesh.
I'm
His name is
so
Bowie.
sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I thought this was all set up perfectly fine. Okay.
Useless. Useless. You have one job.
What is the problem? That comments aren't working.
That comment thing that we have up right now is apparently not from this video. So,
Oh, that's exciting. Are we still live right now? It's still.
yeah, we're still live, and people are commenting. We
Excellent.
just aren't seeing it, so I'm so sorry to do this. But we will.
It is what it is. This is what the first episode is for. Working out all the kinks. And also, I wasn't even expecting to have the guest star Bowie, and here he is.
All right. Gets
Bowie.
all the comments, I'm sure.
Yeah, because he's so freaking cute.
Okay.
Okay, I'm almost done this. I'm so sorry. This is my own fault.
No, Joel did
Um,
absolutely everything for this.
Okay, and Davian is on.
What? No what? No way!
Oh.
Oh my gosh, hello Davian! Oh my gosh. Okay, so I gotta explain. So Davian, when we for our show Inconceivable, we did lives to release the show, and Davian was on almost all of our, or if not all of our live streams as we released their show and did live commentary. So we're so happy to have you back. Oh my gosh, and Allison Shewchuk,
Okay, now I'm gone for real, and you guys can do your show.
your favorite
Bye,
song.
Bowie.
Whoop whoop.
Say goodbye,
Producers don't
Bowie.
exist. Or, no longer.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
Woo!
you guys should really be live now. Okay.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So, we kept the cell clump. A year and a half later.
Long story short,
We are
we have
here.
a clump here that's on my lap.
Yeah, and he's awesome. We made a show about it called Inconceivable, and currently we live in a house with a bunch of other creatives. Joel and I both live here, and we have separate bedrooms in our own house, and are millennials learning what it's like to co-parent and date and figure out all these things about adulthood, and also while child rearing.
It's funny about when you're starting Inconceivable, and friend of Joel's, they went to school together, and they're talking about this, that, whatever, and I'm like, no, I know Rachel. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, it's a true story. It's actually like, wait. So I was telling the whole thing about
Well, you knew me like
2
At
months
conception.
later,
Yeah.
2 months later, and you were seeing this guy. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, but I'm a lesbian. I'm like, well, whatever. It seems all good. And then hadn't seen you another couple months, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't really know if I don't want to do this anymore. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, I'm like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. And then it was it became the whole thing. And then I'm like, and I was telling other people, I'm like, it's a true story. I mean, they may know Joel and whatever. I'm like, no, I was there, and half the conversation is in the fucking Inconceivable. I'm like, it's funny, but amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
So-
it's life.
It's
really
life.
Is. It's my life.
Life is funny.
It
It's like
is.
watching Seinfeld.
My life is my life. Okay, I'm only 25, and my life is so much more interesting than I ever expected it ever would be. Even
Right.
5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, no kidding,
I'm
right?
like, wow, this
And here we go.
is a good story, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. It always feels really good in way later on. That's the funny story.
Yes, when you look
that
back.
day I'm like, I'm a mess, and then 5 years later, oh my god, that's funny. That's actually hilarious.
I always think about that too. When you watch a show like Friends or something like that, people are always like, "Oh, I wish my life looked like Friends." I'm like, "Do you? Do you wish that?"
Really?
When they started the show, they were unhappy, and none of them have their careers going. They're
I don't
all
think they still
struggling,
do. I don't
and
even know
then
if they still do.
they kind of do throughout the 10 years we see them. But the funniest parts are the most painful parts.
Yeah.
11 people watching. Whoop whoop. Thank you for watching.
Killing
So,
it.
this is Sawyer.
Hey.
He is a wonderful person. I have known you for 2 or 3
Like 2.5 or
2.5-ish years from the Vancouver community.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
From Tiff.
Tiff, if you're watching.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, you tell us a little bit about yourself. So, like, you are a BCIT student right now.
I am now. I studied how started school and I realized how much more boring I am. Like I
Since
mean,
starting school?
yeah, because before I'd go out more and working in this that whatever. And once I started school, I'm like, I talk to people who aren't in school. They have no idea or don't care about wood or things.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I end up just making friends with girls in my class.
Yeah.
And they all actually live on the drive, as same with me. So I'm like, and so we can talk about the teacher and this. I'm like, oh my god, oh, did you see that chip out or whatever it is? And no one understands. I'm like, but we do. And so
Yeah.
now I'm talking to other people not in school, and I'm like, what do you do? I'm like, no, I'm just in school. Actually, because I don't go out.
What you're in school for is interesting.
Oh, sorry.
So tell us a bit about.
It's joinery.
It's called joinery.
It's joinery. So the cabinet making, furniture. Some people in my class. One guy wants to make his own guitars, so you can actually do a lot of things.
Cool.
With it,
With,
yeah.
like jewelry boxes and stuff like that.
I already
joining.
made one.
It's like the joining.
You
of
joining
wood?
things together.
Is
Yeah.
that that's so
yeah.
cool.
I mean,
didn't even know.
construction is kind of like making the frame of a house or whatever, and then at the end of it, if you're actually building a house, the joiners would actually make things pretty, like doing the steps, doing the railings,
Yeah.
the countertops, half your furniture.
Yeah.
Joiners would make that. So that's
Cool.
yeah.
So do you have a plan? Are you gonna make furniture? Or
that's that's my plan is.
furniture. Dude, we should start a company. I'll make Galaxy furniture, which by the way I painted these, and you can do the joining of them.
I also want to at the end. I want to learn to do some upholstering as well, because I can actually make my own furniture plus upholster it, and you can fucking paint it. We'll just millions of dollars.
I'm a huge.
Actually, a couple of the girls in my class were thinking after school this year. Hopefully we get a job, but having a little bit of extra cash, maybe we can all rent a studio. So if I buy whatever machine, and they might as well.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah.
Have
Totally.
this nice little communal space, and I think that would be really cool.
Before I was pregnant, I did that. I rented a space at the
I know you
Beaumont
did.
with a bunch of
I know you
people.
did.
It's awesome.
So that's what I do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on our show.
I'm excited because I was the first guest. I felt like
First, number
well,
one.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
You are a very important person. A VIP.
Got this.
Speaking of being the first guest, next week we have another show planned, and it's already prepared and ready to go. And I'm
Excellent.
super excited to announce that we have her name is Tessa Ridley from it's called Self Care okay, she has a couple of Instagram pages. She refers to herself as Sweetest P or Self Care is Sacred, and she is a body consciousness self-care educator. She is an RMT, is all about grounding yourself through the body, and we are going to talk about awakening, and it is about a spiritual awakening. So we're going to talk about spiritual awakening.
I was wondering when you told me this before the show started. I'm like, awakening for
You're
what?
awakening to what? What's awakening? That's exactly
Waking
what
up?
we're going to talk about.
Waking up
Yes.
or something. I don't care.
Waking up
I'm
for
excited
your
for that.
life.
Yeah.
So that'll be awesome. That'll be next week, and then we're going to do a live meditation after that. And the way the show is going to be structured is there's going to be some sort of interview with someone, some sort of topic, and then we're going to do some sort of relaxing activity. And the reason that I want to do this is because I find that in my own experience and in my life, there generally is kind of two kinds of people. There are healthy people who generally can self-regulate their emotions well, and then there's people who generally can't. And those kinds of people are going to be more prone to addiction or anxiety, depression, all of these kinds of things. It's there's two kinds of peoples, and I tend to fit in the category of the more anxious person or depressed, and I have my own history of mental illness, which I am going to be super stoked to share on the show at a later date. But the reason I wanted to do it focusing on relaxing is, in my experience, I found that relaxing is actually a learned skill.
Oh yeah.
Learning how to breathe and chill the F out is something that, our brains can't always do. And in our generation and in our society, in this, instant world with, phones and this, and we're just like go 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 go, like so much happening.
And
Think.
sometimes you don't notice until like I go to bed. I'm also like I'm wide awake. My brain won't turn off. Like I feel like
Right.
if I can fill my day is one thing. Two, I come home and I'm like in bed. I'm like
Just
half my
going.
life is just like what I did last year, what I did wrong. What I'm like maybe if I would have done this. Or half my life choices maybe I. It doesn't. I can't stop. It's just like how do I
Totally.
sleep? I'm like I don't know.
Totally.
How do I relax?
And like
I don't know.
that in and of itself is a tool of how is getting into your own body and learning how to shut off the thinking mind. And
Yeah, exactly.
that in and of itself is it can be very traumatic when people. I know have friends that like have like learned to meditate and they would like meditate for 10 minutes and then have panic attacks because like then you're like allowing whatever it is to come up and through
Yes.
you whatever emotions.
I
Like
think
there's
that's
just
what
so
you-
much
I think
about
it's what you
it.
need to do. Like especially like the only way to like relax is to go through the shit and be okay with it, and then be like,
Totally.
okay, that's it. Like I need to like go through it, feel it, and then get over it. Like just like okay, this did happen today. This whatever it is, right? Or what I'm like okay, if you can accept it, that's the only way to get calm and relaxed, and then like tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
Maybe I think that's the only way to. I think it's the only way to relax.
The way to relax is to relax.
Right.
With that in mind, the song we listened to earlier was called Smokin' by Monica Lee from the Monica Lee Band, or that was the Monica Lee Band. And she's going to be here today on the show to do a relaxing ukulele session where we can just turn our brains off and listen to her amazing voice. And she is also happens to be the music teacher for my son. So that's
Oh no
cute.
way.
Yeah, he's in her class.
That's adorable.
Well, it's over right now, but
Anyway, well.
it just ended. It was so cute while it lasted. I can't wait for it again. So, coming out. If you're watching with us, feel free to comment as much as you want, however you want. Just keep in mind that there's a 30-second delay. So, if you comment, like Dabian, I see you said, I moved into a new house last month on the 19th, and it's a nice house with a quiet area and nice neighbors, and I've just finished on my PS4 to hang out here with you guys for a bit. Thank you so much for joining us, Dabian, and we are so stoked to have you. Also, if I remember correctly, you are from the UK. If you want to remind me what time it is there, I'm always curious to know when people watching are what time they're watching from.
I think it's not like 15 hours or something like that. Like something stupid. Like
Yeah, so it'd be like in the morning maybe. Let us know.
wake up in the morning and here you are.
So, with that in mind, coming out.
Coming out. Coming out is so hard.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It never. Okay.
Okay, when was the first moment for you that you thought to yourself, maybe I'm not 100% straight? Not necessarily like, okay, yeah, I'm out. Like, when was there, like, thoughts? Like, young.
It was like when I really kind of really realized it. Definitely like whatever, like grade 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever it was. Only because like every girl in my class were like all having these crushes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I just like, oh well, no. I'm like, I don't have any crushes on the boy. Okay, so the boys in class, I guess, right? So I just didn't quite get it, and I just seemed to like just really like girls instead. But I just didn't quite understand why, because I'm just so young. I'm like I just didn't think about it. And then by the time I was in high school, and I just like, I know it. But I was in a small town, and
In Canada?
in Canada, it was in Ontario. So it's a small town near Niagara Falls. It's like 18,000 people. It's quite small. So I went to school, high school, and it was like, you know, I just you want to just kind of fit in and whatever. Made some awesome friends, and then like, you know, we're all talking about like, little crushes and this, that, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's fine. I laughed because I dated more guys than my straight friends through high school, or they didn't date at all, and so I did. I was dating boys, and to be completely honest, like my last 2 boyfriends in high school, they were prettier than I was, and it was
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, like the one still friends and I'll tell you about my first girlfriend afterwards. But like, and then my last boyfriend, God, he was pretty. His hair was long. He was like a singer in a band.
Yeah.
And then like after a while, we just broke up, and I was just like, I'm not dating again. And my mom was just like, what? I'm like, no.
Okay, so how old were you at this point?
I was 17, so I just finished high school.
Nice.
So I'm like, nope, I'm never gonna date again.
Yeah, or just like I'm
Only
over,
'cause I
I'm over
can't-
the concept.
I mean,
Dating.
I love the company and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't really like you that much. I don't want to date you. I don't want to date men.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, no.
So then you said, so it was your mom that was.
I told my mom that I'm like, I'm just not gonna date anymore. She's like, what? I'm like, oh, just wait some time. I'm like, yeah, all right, fucking sure. So.
So then was there like a girl you had a crush on? Or...
So now that before my coming out story, so my second last boyfriend, which we're still friends, and his last girlfriend at the end of high school.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if we actually like double dated at the time, but I did know his girlfriend, and then after they broke up, we would still talk, and I was already in Waterloo, and I was in university, but we just kept talking, and then after a while, I'm like, I have a crush on you, and I'm like, you know, let's just maybe try it out, and I haven't even told my friends or my family or anything that I was out, but I was just like, nope, let's see. So eventually I ended up telling my friend.
So like, you do date for a while then? Like you said, let's try it out. And she
Well,
was
because
into it.
we were in different cities, so I'd see her when I'd come home to Port
yeah,
Colborne, where I was born.
Yeah.
So so we just kind of like keep talking, whatever. I'd see her a couple times when I go home to see my parents, and I go see her.
Yeah.
And then I ended up like telling my friends, and so I told my friends from high school, and they're like, I'm like, I need to tell you guys something, and they're like, oh my god. And so I'm like, I'm gay. And they're like, oh my god, I thought you were either dying or gay. And
which is worse?
and I'm like, and then I'm like, but we all could just thought you were gay. I thought we just like, they knew before I did out loud. So I'm like, it was okay.
That's
told
like
my-
the
told my-
best case scenario.
It usually happens all the time. I'm like, oh well, if you're happy, that's fine. Like, just, you know. And then I told my sister, and she was like, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
And then, but I didn't tell my parents, because you never want to tell your parents, ever.
So okay, so like when you dated, so you dated a girl, and then you were like definitely like, oh, I'm definitely gay after.
Well, I think the
dating
first
her.
time I was like, again, first kiss or first anything else, like, oh, that's what it is. Because I was like dating a couple guys in high school, and I'm like, you know, and it was okay. And then all of a sudden, like, first girlfriend, I'm like, yes, that is.
I find, okay, like for me, I found that like, yeah, so I didn't even like consider asexuality in general until I was out of high school. I found like I went to a very religious high school, so
Catholic.
well, Christian, Protestant, Pentecostal.
Oh shit!
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole lot to delve into there. But I found that I wasn't even dealing with sexuality at all in any way, and so like I found that when I like had a crush on someone in high school, it was very clinical. It was like, oh, you fit this like box. You check this, you check this, you check this. Okay, maybe let's date. Or like, oh, I have a crush on you. Do you have a crush on me back? But like when I actually connected with the first girl I dated and my first girlfriend, and we got together, and like we were like just like our conversations were awesome, and then you're like, oh, and then it's like, oh, this is a crush. It's like butterflies in the tummy, and I'm like, oh, she's cute. Like, oh, I'm smiling. Like, oh,
I just find
that
for me.
whole extra.
Oh, I
bit.
know, right? But I think for me, when I was straight in high school, it was just like I did it because I could, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because like
sense.
even like I said, like my friends who didn't date but they wanted to, but I'm like, I don't, for whatever reason, how I didn't give a fuck, because I didn't give a shit about it, that it was just really easy.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, and I'm gonna be honest to maybe my friends who are still watching this. I took it I took what you wanted because I could. I mean, like, I had like my friend, like this one guy that we all hung out with,
Yeah.
and he seemed to like me, and I dated him because
Because
she
he's
liked
into
him, because she liked him, and he liked me, and I dated him just because. Sorry.
But that's kind of how dating often works. If like one person's interested in the other person, like the first couple people I dated were like way more interested in me, and then I was like, okay, I gotta find someone I like.
I just
and
wanted,
then
I
pursued
sped
someone.
up that because I had to, because I'm like, well, if I'm feeling weird on the inside, I'm like, well, if I felt that kind of fake it to make it.
Mhm.
Like, oh, someone likes me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry that my friends liked him instead. But I'm like, you know what? Like, I gotta I'm gonna do
like,
it.
whatever.
I'm gonna do it because like maybe that's maybe.
But it feels good to have someone into you.
I know, but especially when you don't really care much, you can just drop them at a hat because like, because I
And
thought.
the ball's in your court.
Well, because I just like it didn't make a difference because I just didn't like how I felt on the inside.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, someone likes me. Oh, it's a fake it to make it. That maybe I could
Yeah.
maybe I will like this. Maybe I will like
Yeah.
this person. Maybe.
That's all part of experimenting and like,
Yeah, but
learning.
you don't know. And like in a small town, you don't know. You don't know how big the world could be
Yeah.
when you're in a small town and it's just not small-minded mindset, but just even my parents wouldn't know. Like no one I knew, any older family member, like who would I talk to about it? Who would know?
Yeah, when there's no visibility, and why would you necessarily question it
Right?
yourself if
Exactly.
there's nothing to question? Totally.
So, let's go back to where it was before. So my first girlfriend was my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend.
Your first girlfriend. Okay, say it. Your first girlfriend was your
Boyfriend's
ex-boyfriend's
ex.
ex-girlfriend. Okay, which
Yeah.
is okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then like the coming out part.
I'm
So
still like.
So my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend was my first girlfriend.
Your boyfriend's. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
and then I was like, I told my friend when I came out to my friends and like he was there, and he's like, oh, I feel like a little bit emasculated because like my last two girlfriends are now gay,
Oh.
and I'm like, so I mean, but it was okay. It was only like I don't know, a couple months, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then this is when my first coming out to my parents happened. So I was home for the weekend, and on Sunday I was gonna go to my girlfriend's house.
Yeah.
Because it was her birthday, and then at the end of the day I was gonna get to a Greyhound and then go back to Waterloo where I went to school. So I'm like just had that quick weekend.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, my mom was like, "Oh, I'm gonna drive you back to school tomorrow on Sunday." I'm like, "No, I'm going to see Jessica because it's her birthday, and I definitely want to hang out with her." And my mom didn't know, so we were just friends.
Yeah.
I was like, "No, like like this, that, whatever." I'm like, "Mom, I want to go see her. It's her birthday." We had this almost a huge fight, and then I'm like, "Fine, you know what? Thanks. Drive me back to school." So we had a little bit of a fight. And then so we packed up on crap and she ended up driving me back. So we're on the highway and she's like, "I don't understand why you were so upset." And I'm like, "She's my girlfriend." And my mom like swerved off the highway, just like this
Oh my god.
boom back, and I was like, "Did she just drive for like 5 minutes?"
Silent.
Without saying like, and I'm like,
Are your parents religious or were like?
well, my mom's Catholic, but it's just a surprise. Like she's like,
Yeah.
"I'm just driving." I'm like, and then 5 minutes at least, she's like, "Don't tell your dad." And I'm like, "I won't." But I'm like, "No, I wasn't planning to." And then quiet. It's like, "It's because you played hockey and rugby or whatever." I'm like,
Oh.
"No, Mom, the sports did not make me gay either." And we only really talked like very minimal. I think that was it.
Yeah.
And then that was it. Then she like dropped me off, and that was it. And I was like, really, guess that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
A month later, I was coming home, and it was my grandma's birthday, and my mom was just like, you have to tell your dad. And I'm like, why? It's like, because I told everybody else. And I'm like, so
what does everyone else entail?
Like my grandma, my aunt,
yeah,
like her, her family, right? I'm like, why? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, okay, I'll get there. So that day, I went to go see my girlfriend, and she broke up with me.
Oh my god!
So I walked. She's like, "I'll drive you home." I'm like, "Nope, I'm gonna walk home." So I walked home, and it was my grandma's birthday. So my whole family's at home. So I'm like, I went home, went upstairs, changed, whatever, right? And I'm like, trying to keep it in, and I just like went outside for a smoke or a beer or something like that, and my aunt was like, just punched me, and I'm like, why? It's like, why didn't you tell me first? Your mom wouldn't understand. And I'm like, oh. And I was like, just kind of crying still. I'm like,
my
it's
girlfriend
okay.
broke up with me. I don't even care.
I'm like,
oh,
okay, thank you. I'm like, thank you, auntie. And then I think my grandma might have said a comment, like a quiet comment. And then my mom was like, you have to tell your dad. So I'm like, okay. So I did. And it was kind of like a weird conversation, and kind of like a lot of questions, and like, Dad, I'm really tired right now. I need to go to bed. So I woke
Allison
up.
says this is a roller coaster and a half, hot Dad.
It
so many
is.
things at once.
So I woke up in the morning, and my dad woke me up. He's like, "Can we talk?" And I'm like, "I'm still sleeping." And so I finally got up, and we talked for a little bit.
Wait, your dad woke you up to talk?
He woke me up to
You're
talk.
like, let me.
I'm still. It's like, I don't know, like
Wake
8 o'clock. I'm like, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute, and we will talk when I get up. And then so we talked for a little bit, and that was it. And then I think the day after that, same thing. They kind of like, I still need to talk. So after those 2 days of talking, we never really talked for 2 years.
Oh my god! Because of me.
I've talked to him about it before. He doesn't think that happened. I'm like, I do. Like, I'd be home to visit. He'd be like making a coffee in the morning, and he's like, and then that was it. Mm-hmm. So that was hard, but I'm like,
so what I'm curious about is, so you're at this dinner, your aunt has come over, all these people.
Oh, sorry, it's at my parents' house. It's at my parents' house.
Okay, yeah. And you're like upset. And so all these people are like questioning you on your sexuality.
Everything was actually quite privately. So I was outside in the garage. Yeah. And my aunt came in to
But so my question is, how did you respond to that? Because were you at all dealing with any inner turmoil in the terms of like, well, if my girlfriend am I still gay? Like, do I have like, or you were definitely like, no, I'm definitely comfortable with this label now that I had a girlfriend. But like, was there any bit of like, what, all these people are questioning my gayness, and I
didn't like
no longer have a girlfriend.
I didn't like how people were talking about like why I'm gay, and I'm like, what did I do? But the parents have that like, what did I do? To make my child gay, which is. Yeah. It sucks.
Yeah,
but, like,
my mom sent me like a link about like, because like when I guess she couldn't get pregnant or had a hard time getting pregnant. Yeah. So one of the things people do is take progesterone, the hormone, to get more pregnant for your uterus and all that, blah, blah, blah. So she did, and then I guess if you do that, there's some, like, they're finding out now there's some sort of increased chance that you're gay.
Yeah,
she literally sent me a link. Bullshit. Being like, maybe this is why. I'm like, maybe. Who cares? I'm still gonna like do whatever floats my boat.
Bullshit, scientific. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. But some people are born gay. That's how it goes.
Or some people got one taste. That's all they need.
You never go back. So it's just like it kind of like everything in that family was like quite quiet. In terms of like, I'm gonna call my mom. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna talk to my sister. I'm like, okay. And then like my mom tells me like, I told everyone else, maybe tell Dad. So just like, it was really hard, but at least I was in a different city because I was in school. Yeah. Summer times was hard because I was home for 4 months. And then it really, after a while, didn't make a difference. I was really scared.
Your friends were cool. Dad,
Oh,
not so much. Mom
he just
was
didn't,
okay.
He just didn't quite understand. Like, I mean, I think he's actually, it's like in that little underground stories where like he thinks that he's had other men try to touch him and stuff like that. Like his
him?
well, like his his professor. Like he was over at his professor's place, and he's like, and he's just like his wife is upstairs. Like, kind of like I think he did. So that's why he's a little bit like during high school. He was just like, oh, fag this. Oh, they're in the newspaper.
Well, we have to give our parents understanding that, like,
Of course.
they are from a completely different generation.
Absolutely.
We're like, whatever, I'm gonna
Although
do
I feel
this,
like
I can do that.
although my grandma like is like, oh, that's great. Like, I mean,
I think they soften when they get older.
you really just think so, right? I mean, like, but everyone else was fine. I think my dad wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It just was a little bit like, it was just quite distant. We just distanced ourselves.
Yeah.
It. And after amount of time, he's just like, it's over like sitting down, I'm like, I've just thought after 2 years that you're the same person that you were before. I'm like, thanks. I'm like, and I still love you. I'm like, great. And that's really kind of how it just went. So it kind of went from like, just being okay, and then became like, by the end of it came like, let's bro down. Let's that cute girl on TV. I'm like, yeah, she's hot too. And I'm like, oh, okay, Dad. Let's so really I definitely I've had a lot of people that are younger, even people on Instagram, and they're like worried about coming out in whatever way you come out to. I'm like, give your parents a break. They're actually a little more resilient than you think they are. Like, and they may get mad, absolutely, but they raised you for so long. They love you, and I think that you
Totally.
Well, it depends on how you're dynamic with your parents anyway. But I think they love you, and they may be mad, and they may be upset because they don't understand.
Yeah.
But I think by the end of it, like, give them a break, and then take it or leave it by the end of it. I'm sure if you're an adult, like, this is me, and that's all you can do.
There's definitely something to be said for, like, well, I mean, like, I came out once I was old enough where if I were to get kicked out and I
wasn't living at home anymore.
Then I was adult enough to be able to. So, like, there's definitely a privilege. If you're in a place where you can come out, I think that means you're in a privileged life.
So I told my parents after I moved out when I was in school. Because I was not going to be at home. So I'm like, oh, you can think about it because I'm going to be back in school. So I had enough time to not have to worry about it. So
I think too, to even just like come out as gay at all, you have to you have to question your own beliefs and your own, like, for me, like, I had this like cemented structure within my world that like being gay was wrong. My aunt was gay, she was the devil.
Oh, no.
And like one of my uncles, like, literally, okay, so like I'm reading my textbook in university.
Oh no.
Queerly Canadian, my like sexuality
Queerly
101.
Queerly Canadian.
It's such a good book if you need a good bathroom read.
I'm actually interested now.
And like they're going through like the Surrey School Board case, like I think it was like 2000 or 2005, where like they put a gay book in the classrooms of like all of Surrey. That was like the plan, and then like the school board was like, no. And like all these parents freaked the F out, and they took the books out. They got it out. They went through the book. They found spelling errors, and they're like, there are too many spelling errors in this book.
Yeah, right.
Therefore, you should take it out. So I'm in university. I am reading this textbook. I find out as I'm reading this that like the head lawyer on this case was like my uncle. Like, are you kidding me? And then there's like another case. Anyway, there's just like crazy stuff with like my family, like this crazy homophobicness. But so for me to even come out to the point where I was able to come out as gay, it literally took not years, I would say months of like some seriously messed up, like on the floor crying, God hates me, like horrible, like crazy traumatic religiousness. And then coming out, you can't expect the parents to like suddenly do all that healing that you did over however many months, like instantly.
Well, no.
Although some of them do. And then some of them are super resilient and surprise you and do it in that moment and go,
I've had a couple of my friends, they was like, they were talking, I don't know, actually just one of my friends, we were just talking like a little just last week or something like that, and talking about how like coming out stories and this, that, whatever. And she's like when my mom like outed me in front of the whole family because she saw like some texts or things on her computer.
Yeah.
And like had said it to like the whole family, and then she's like, "Yeah, I know you're a lesbian." I'm like, "Thanks for saying it to," and like, but I'm glad you're okay about it. But also like you said it to you. I'm not ready to come out yet in front of you. Like you found out and you told everybody I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
But that's a great mom who's like, I was just really excited that my my daughter's a lesbian, and like
I feel like it's a very mom trait though to be like, I gotta tell everybody.
oh my god, I know.
Like whatever else.
That's my mom thing. I feel like if I don't know right away, it kind of has this like, someone will tell someone, like they'll tell like my grandma to my aunt, and my aunt to my uncles, and like within a small amount of time, everyone's gonna know. I think it's definitely a family thing.
Totally. So Davian says, I came out when I was 24 in 2004 to my mom after we had to put one of our cats to sleep.
No.
Oh, that's
You
sad.
came out after your
That was-
your cat
I
died.
feel like it was a vulnerable moment. Maybe you needed to like be vulnerable in the vulnerable moment. I think that makes some sense. It was like, you're already sad.
Actually,
Now
I
you
think-
can't get mad.
I think it's actually a great idea.
My
It's
mom
so-
was very accepting, and I feel like a ton of bricks fell off my shoulders, and I feel so much better.
That's
It's
great.
true, when you're hiding and living in this place of like, oh, well, people like me, people not like me. It's funny because when I first came out, I had a lot of friends who are still kind of in this religious world, kind of not.
Yeah.
And a couple of them were like, well, that's not okay. And like, oh, like, I got a lot of like really cliche responses.
Oh shit! Really?
But then I don't never talk to them again, so that's good. But
That's
at the
great.
same time, like, you know, fast forward a year or two later, and I, like, you know, in the queer community, have only dated girls, like 4 or 5 girlfriends, like,
Yeah.
very comfortable with this, like, label, if you will, and then being surprised when people don't assume I'm gay. I'm like, don't I have it on my forehead? Come on, you
Right
didn't
here.
think I was, like, really? Like, people be like, well, you didn't want to stereotype. I'm like, cut stereotype!
Stereotype. I am. I got this.
Do you see this tattoo?
I really just think like the
Yeah,
more,
okay,
the
tattoo.
older you are, the more
Yeah.
you don't give a shit. I mean, like, again, like I know, again, like even my Instagram and people who follow me, and I get messages quite a bit of like that I'm gay or I'm trans, I'm this or that, and I'm like, you know, like what do I do? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this will happen with me, but
What do you want to do?
But I mean, like, it's just like it is hard because I mean, like, I don't know, because I was in a small town. Like, I didn't know, and I didn't know if I wanted to put myself out there in a small town where
Yeah.
the whole town knows your business.
Yeah.
Within 2 days, someone's gonna come back.
Well,
to
it literally, people's lives are at risk
Your
sometimes
life is
when
small.
they do come out.
Your life is small. If I'm in high school, like that's small. This is my life in these many people every day.
Totally.
It's scary to how much do you want to put yourself out there, and if you're strong enough to do it, to maybe take some of that flack, and you know
Yeah.
it. And then, like I said, the parents are resilient. If you're not living at home, like you know, you're a big boy, big girl, and then you have to know what you want, and without like. You have one life, and how can you make it the best you
You
can?
have one life right now.
Well, right now. Right now. But I mean, I was thinking, like, so coming out in
That'll be a topic for next week.
with our awakening, and
So we're still like,
I'll be here next week. Like, be in the background. Like, I still want to talk about this. Yeah.
oh man. Yeah, honestly, okay, so I was watching, there's this awesome YouTube video called by this woman named Ash Beckham, and she has a TED Talk, and she talks about coming out of the closet, and she's wonderful, and she talks about how, like, all a closet is a hard conversation that you live in. So, like, you live
I
somewhere,
love
and
that
the only
already.
way to get out of it is a hard conversation. And she talks about how, like, you can have a brain tumor and have to tell people you have a brain tumor, or you can be pregnant, or you can be trans, or you can be gay, or you can... anything that you have to, like, tell someone that they don't already know that is somehow very likely going to affect their emotions.
Yeah.
That is what a closet is. And I really like what she says, because she talks about how there is no, like, no matter what, the closet is not a good place to live. And it sucks to live there, but it also is a safe place to hide. So in and of itself, like, some people's reality are that if they do come out, their lives will be at risk. Or if they do come out, they might get kicked out. And in my case, I got kicked out at one time, even after I came out, when I was still living at home.
Shit.
And so, like, it happens, and it's a really real thing, and people are subject to violence. I like what she said also about how hard is not relative, hard is hard. So no matter who you are, no matter what your closet is, any human can level with another human based on the fact that we all break the same, and that we all know hard. My heart is not harder than your heart, even though my heart may sound more horrific than this, but there's no, hard is hard. And I really liked that. So if you want to watch a good TED Talk, Ash Beckham.
Really?
Out of the closet.
Oh, killer. Nice. No, I don't understand why people who are, like, homophobic or transphobic or whatever, I just don't understand why it bothers you specifically. And are you, like, offended? I don't understand. It's not your life. I don't understand. Like, I'm like, I really don't understand why it bothers anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, if I don't like it, that's one thing. But two, I'm like, why would I make more of an effort to, like, bring it down when it's not your business?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I mean, like,
I agree with you. I think
like,
just the problem is that a lot of people still, like, the most closeted people are the people that, like, live in religious worlds or whatever, where if they were to come out, they're gonna have this, like, crazy.
But it's so
backlash of,
you know.
The problem
But
is
it doesn't make sense.
trying to
They
control
can
someone
be
else's
bitching
behavior.
about, like, homosexual, like, you're eating pork on Friday. So, like, I mean, like, what's your big issue right now? I mean, like, it really doesn't make.
Yeah, you can't
you
ever
kind
control
of just
someone
pick and
else's
choose,
behavior.
and it just doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah. So it really, like, I think they're, like, closed-minded people, and sometimes it could be, like, even your family might be as well. Like, it's somebody you just, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I mean, it's ingrained. We all have these things ingrained, even though, like, I was born Catholic or not, or my family is, or I'm in a small town, or whatever it is, right? And the coming out is just like, how do you get out of it? How do you get out of it?
How do you get out of coming out?
Yeah, kind of. Like, sometimes you always, like, am I coming out for, like, almost every day for something else? Not.
Yeah.
For you.
No, but it is. I find, like, so coming out in and of itself, it's not something you do once. Like, I mean, for me, like, I came out at 19. That's when I, like, started the process. But, like, you come out every day to people. It's like, if someone meets me and someone's like, but literally last week at a party, my friend was like, "Oh, this is Rachel. She's gay and wrote a show and, like, blah 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 blah." And people, so this woman's like, "So you're a lesbian?" Like, that's like how the conversation starts. You're just gay. Hello,
Stephanie.
Hello, Stephanie. Do I know Stephanie?
This is my friend Stephanie.
Hello.
You don't know her. I knew she was. I was hoping that some of my friends would start coming up on this.
Where are you all? I don't really know YouTube that well. But, like, I wouldn't have known how to, like, log in. So you actually have to be logged in order to comment.
I don't know how to do
So if you're
anything.
watching and you're not able to comment, log in.
I don't even know how to do this. I'm really not, like, computer friendly, just in general. Like, I just really.
Joel did all of this. All this cool stuff here. The baby daddy did.
I'm just gonna
Like,
click this.
here.
There we go.
All the cool stuff here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we have Monica Lee coming up really shortly. But before we do, let's talk a little bit about the juxtaposition between coming out as a lesbian versus coming out as trans. What in general did you find a difference at all between people's responses to you in coming out as lesbian versus coming out as trans?
Yes, actually. Yeah, I was having I've known it's another by coming out other things. Like, I was like 4 years old or 5 years old, and I went up to my mom and I just started crying. And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Mom, I should have been a boy." And, like,
How old were you?
5.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, it's, you know, you can be a tomboy, it's okay. I'm like, I guess so, because I didn't know. I had no idea. And then when I was younger, into high school and whatever, and I was just like, I'm like, well, like, it was kind of that, kind of back and forth in my brain. I'm like, well, like, oh, well, I guess I can be a lesbian. Is that okay? Because I mean, if I was into women, I'm like, well, I should have been a boy, but like, oh wait, maybe I can just be a lesbian. I guess that will be okay. And so
You could be whoever you want to be.
pretty much. And so I came as a lesbian. I dated from university to 4 years ago or 3 years ago. I was a lesbian, and so I'm like, I guess this is okay. But since I came to Vancouver, which is almost 9 years ago, I just end up meeting friends that end up being trans later, and I'm like, you can do this. I'm like, I really had no idea. I was in Ontario. I never thought, like, the idea of being like trans, like, drag queens or just like trashy. I don't know. Like, that's all I knew until I came here. I'm like, this is actually a thing. But when I came to Vancouver, I did have a head injury, so I was doing rehab for that. So I'm like, I can't do more things on my plate right now. It's just and then it was like 3.5 years or 3 and something years ago. I was just like, I had some friends that are now trans, and I'm watching them, and like this, I was like, just crying. I'm like, I'm so jealous. I just. And then I was getting this point where I was 27 years old. I'm like, am I too old to do this? Like, I mean, like, it's not bad. I'm actually like, was a pretty good looking lesbian. I never, it was okay. But I'm like, but I don't even like myself.
Yeah.
And so, text a buddy at like 2 a.m, and I'm like, oh, like, I think I'm trans. What do I do? What do I do? It's okay. So, talked to a couple friends, then
It's okay.
then I told my close friends, and they were like, that was okay. And then
Was it okay? That was my question.
no, I'm like, oh no, it was actually like, oh, like, you're pretty handsome already, so that's fine. And then I told my twin sister, I'm like, I have to tell you something. Well, we did a Skype date, so we did that, and I told her. And she was crying, and I started crying, and I'm like, "Why are you crying?" Like, because you've never been happy. You've never been happy,
I got
and if this is what makes you happy, I'm so excited for you. And I'm like, "Thanks, Jack." And
oh my god.
and then after a while, I was just like, I needed to tell my parents, but I'm gonna tell my my aunts and uncles, like my cool aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
First, so when I tell my parents, then they can go talk to them if they need some support.
Yeah,
Like that.
totally.
So I told my my aunt, just like, great, this, that, whatever. My other uncle, he sent me an email back. He's just like, your life is so short. Like, you can reinvent your life as many times as you want to make you happy. Like, so
That's
like,
true.
like, it's just like, this isn't working for me. Change it. It just. That's all you can do is to make yourself happy. And I'm like, well, thanks, that's great. And then I finally told my parents. I actually sent them a letter, like the snail mail. Like, I sent it. Like, I want to say everything I want to, because I don't want to be interrupted. I don't.
I love that. That's
so,
such
like,
a cute idea.
So I did that, and then I called my mom. Like, by the way, I'm sending a letter.
So what was the conversation you were having? Were you like, I'm gay, or I'm trans and I'm gonna transition, or was it just like I'm trans? Like, what was it that you were coming out?
I kind of had this
with?
kind of warming up the conversation. I'm like I've been having a hard time. Oh, my sister. Yes. I kind of started up like that. I've been unhappy and this, that, whatever, and and even I've had hard times with like my relationship. Like, how am I going to open up to someone if I don't even like me? I don't like my body. I like just everything is just not right.
It's also about like knowing you.
Yeah.
Too.
So I had this this one page was just kind of like me coming up to the punchline of it, and like, Mom, I should have been a boy, and I told her how like I did not tell you when I was 5, and this, that, whatever, and I just don't know. I don't want you to hate me. I don't like. I'm scared. I
Yeah.
think that's this back and forth. Anyway, so like I sent the letter to my mom and I called her saying, like, by the way, something's coming in the mail. And she's like, I'm like, oh no, I'm like, it's just something I want to talk about, and like just that's it. It's like, oh, I think I know what it is, and I'm like, what? And like, can we talk? I'm like, no, I'm on the way to something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'll call you after work tomorrow. And I'm like, what the hell? So I text my sister Jacqueline, who's here, and
Watching live.
and I'm like, what the hell did you say to mom?
Oh,
And she's like, what? Nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, did you tell mom about everything? He's like, no. And I'm like, she says she knows something, and it's like, mom's crazy. She's like, oh, she thinks about that. I'm like, okay, whatever. So she called me the next day, and I told her, and I was like waiting, it's like, and we talked for an hour.
Yeah.
And about the end of the hour, like, she started crying, I started crying, because I'm like, I was waiting for the cry. I'm like, okay, all right, if mom starts crying, I am too. But it was okay till the end of it. It's like, I just need some time to process.
But your mom knew, so she did know.
And
That's what she thought she knew. That's what.
I told mom, I'm like, how do you know? It's like, I couldn't think of anything else. You said that you're happy, and something. I'm like, okay, well, did mom or did dad see the letter as well? Like, yep. And so I called my dad then a week or two afterwards, because it was his birthday or Father's Day, and he's just like, what do you think? Like, I thought you'd maybe call me. I thought you'd want to talk.
Yeah.
Like, my dad likes to talk. So we talked. He's like, you know what? I'm not mad. I'm actually sad. And I'm like, what? Why? He's like, because I'm the last to know, and I thought we were friends. And I'm like, oh, Dad, no. Oh,
That's
Daddy,
like such an improvement from the whole gay. Oh.
Yeah. The only thing is at the beginning,
It's
just
like
like
full circle.
the only thing was like the things that he says kind of like made me feel shitty. He's like, so who's gonna date you now? And I'm like, I don't know, Dad. I don't know, because I've always had a girlfriend, or I've been dating. Like, I've always been dating. He's like, who's gonna date you now? I'm like, well,
You're like,
I don't
Let
know.
me show you.
I don't know, but maybe if I love myself, someone will love me back too.
Yeah.
So we'll get there eventually. So and surprisingly enough, I really I know some people who came out as trans, and they've had some hard times, and I honestly go on, like, I have no complaints. I mean,
Yeah.
my friends don't, they don't give a shit. Like, dude, you keep looking more handsome. Thank you. And my parents are like, the whole family, and we have a small family enough, but just so much support.
Because they see you as a transformed human too. Like, obviously, like, transformed, haha. But
But
you're like also who you are, and your happiness and your energy. That's
Yeah.
transformed also.
Yeah, 'cause I mean,
they obviously see that.
I said years ago, I'd be like in my room for 5 days. I had too much anxiety to go outside. Like, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have some anxiety too, but I mean, it's not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I can go out and anxiety for one thing and anxiety for something else. I mean, I don't like. I love going out. I love how I look.
Yeah.
This is normal and comfortable, and I don't get these crazy depression, just
Yeah.
I want to kill myself. I was in that spot. I was
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore
Yeah.
unless I change
Unless
or
you
I die now.
blossom into yourself.
Yeah, so I do find coming out stories and people who I don't know, and you feel like you're either religion or just my parents or my town, my whatever it is. I mean, it sucks and it's scary, but
Yeah.
I mean I had 90% of my life
Yeah.
not the way I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And it was
Hopefully you'll live a lot longer so that percentage will change.
well. I'm only 30, and I came out when I was 27. So I mean, it's only been almost
So when you live to 100, it'll be like 80% of your life.
like,
You
wow.
were who you wanted to be.
Oh god, I feel like I'll die before I have to wear a diaper. I'll be out then. So I'll hope it's long, but diapers no. Yeah. So.
Oh man. Did you find at all any difference between when you came out as like okay? Did any from other people's responses to you?
Yeah.
Have you found a difference between people, like, were your friends who watched you transition all very supportive? Like, do you find a difference in people who've known you before you transition and between people after you transition?
It's, the only, I mean, like, yeah, like, the people that like, my close friends from high school, they knew me throughout it. And then, but I said, like, when I came to Vancouver, there's a couple of friends I'm still friends with, and that was okay. But I've met so many new friends now. I'm like, they don't know me before then. So it's kind of like I always have this like people knew me from Ontario, people knew me from the beginning of Vancouver, and people knew me through starting T, and now I know friends from now.
Yeah.
So that know me just as Sawyer right now.
Yeah.
So it's weird having this like I feel like I have 3 different lives.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't know half my backstory. They don't know my crazy high school being a shithead for half the time. Like they don't know that. So it's kind of just a weird thing. I feel like for me, like by the time you get to for me at this age, it became like love me or leave me.
Yeah. Love me or I leave you.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you know, like if you don't, if for whatever, half my friends are lesbians and they're open and whatever it is, like, right? So like, it's just like, why would it even bother you?
Yeah.
Like if you're in a
Totally.
queer community or
Totally.
my other straight friends are just like queer allies as well. Like, I mean, they really don't care at all. So I mean, if I told, I don't know, like, I can be a unicorn tomorrow. I'm like, sweet unicorn. Like, I mean, they're really just
I am a
excited.
unicorn.
Yeah.
Allison has a question.
Oh.
She says, "Hey Sawyer, if there was anything you
Oh.
could change about your coming out experience or any pro tips you have, what would they be?" And Allison, if you want to let us know where you are texting or commenting from and what time it is there as well, we would
Sweet.
love to know.
Anything
you would change about it? Or any pro tips?
You know what? Like, I think the only way to come out is for me, what I already did. Maybe. How do you tell someone something that like maybe cancer, maybe I'm gay, maybe I'm whatever, like what make a cake and like send it over like hey it's like what would be like better to hit the blow a little bit less, like if you bring a cake or some sort of I mean I think that like being honest, I think having a good like a safe place to go to. Like, I mean, if you're at home,
that's a really good tip.
Like if it's like maybe if you're still living at home, maybe you have a friend and a family friend or whatever. Like just in case, because you don't want to be like they may get mad. You might have to leave. You might I don't know, but you should always have a place to be if things don't work out the way you should.
Yeah, your friend
just
Lemon Super Boring Edmonton at 7 p.m. Awesome. That's
Same
awesome.
with my sister.
Come
She's,
in Edmonton also?
Yeah.
Jacqueline and Allison, you should hang.
Should hang out, be best friends. I think
Also, you should both move to Vancouver.
I think that's really the only what I did. I think that's the only other thing was to have a place to stay at a friend's house, like or another family, like because you have to be safe. Because I mean, like you've seen on YouTube, like people coming out, and there's a lot of angry family members that are just not okay about it. Like I think you just need to find a place that you can leave if you need to. Because if you have to go home and no, you're getting out.
That's
Like,
fair. That's fair, Allison.
yeah, I think that's it. I think being honest, I think you would have. I know we were talking before that like my friend's mom outed her out and whatever. Like I think it's a good time. Like when you're okay, and feel like when you come up with people like, oh, we need to talk. You're always thinking about the worst.
Yeah.
So when you say something else like, oh, I'm just gay, I'm like, oh. Well, I thought you were dying. So that always makes it a little bit better. I think it's that. Just be honest, but when you're ready, because like you don't have to like,
Yes.
you know, like.
Is there anything you would change?
I really don't think so. I mean, like maybe a different time, maybe when. I mean,
maybe not when your girlfriend broke up with you. Maybe like the next day.
Well, I told my mom when we were still together, and then we broke up, and then it's like, oh, by the way, you know, I told the rest of the family you have to tell Dad. I'm like, but I can't. I'm already crying. My first girlfriend, my first breakup, really. I'm like, oh, this is not a good weekend.
First cut is
it's a really shit. It's the worst.
It's the worst.
I have this like Carole King, the singer.
Sure.
And I was like, after my first breakup, I was like driving and like her song came on the radio, and I'm like, it's exactly what I'm feeling right now. Like when you have your first real breakup and that song, and even now and again when it's on the radio or it's an oldies, whatever, right? I'm like, oh, my first breakup. It still feels painful.
I think the good thing is though, once you get over that first one and you're like, okay, I've done it. Like, then you can do however many you need to.
Oh my god, I know.
I think millennials do not get enough credit for the amount of rejection we face in, like, or 20-somethings. And that, like, from 20 to whoever.
I don't know if I'm going to approve or not approve that sentence. I think we're idiots. I think we just...
Well, we deal with rejection so well. Well,
you know
we deal with it a lot.
Do you know how I reject people? By texting, so I don't have to feel the backlash of it. I think it's bullshit.
You're like, I break up with people on text, and I think it's
I don't, but I mean, like, I'm going to talk about my feelings through text, so I'm not going to feel like the brunt of like, my feelings. Like, let me call you. Like, I don't want to talk on the phone, but let me keep talking how much I'm mad at you.
I definitely did a text breakup once.
Oh no, really?
I know. I felt like the biggest asshole. I like.
Oh, how old were you? How long? Don't say it's like last year, because I'm.
It's inconceivable. It's when I first broke up with like someone when I moved to the city, and I like was just like, I'm over it, and it was like only a couple of months, and it was like kind of
right, maybe.
I know it was so bad. A few months later, I like messaged and was like, I'm sorry, that was a really bad move. And she was like, yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, you suck.
I
that was
know.
kind of what that
Breakups
conversation
suck.
went like.
Breakups suck. I can't even.
It's hard.
I'm finding like the older you get, I'm like, I'm really tired of dating, but I do want to be with someone. But the amount of effort you want to give, and you're like, oh, things are going really well, and then it doesn't work out. I'm like, oh man, again? Really? Like when I put my Tinder up, and like what else am I gonna get in there? Like it's hard, and actually I find as our coming out stuff, I'm fine that like dating is a little bit harder than when I was a lesbian.
Interesting. Do people have a hard time with you being trans in dating?
Sometimes.
Interesting.
It's kind of like I do have a thing like where I'm like, or the last two girls I was with when I was out or as trans and stuff like that, like you know, like first one was just like it was okay at the beginning, and it wasn't really a great relationship, but it just at the end of it was like, you know, I'm a lesbian. She was a lesbian before, lesbian after. Like I'm a lesbian. I don't want to be with a man. Whatever. I'm like, okay, fine. My last one was straight, and now she's a lesbian. I think now I'm like, why? Why did I bring them back? Gay, apparently.
That just shows the barrier of the language we use.
But it is having this like, you know, going out to maybe date someone who's who is a lesbian or who's queer or bi. That's one thing. I maybe it's just me thinking more that it's true or not, that like Am I not manly enough, or like less manly, or too butchy for a lesbian? I mean, it's kind of like in that
Interesting.
this in between, and like
That exists within, I think, the queer community without even
yeah,
being
and then I feel like if I'm
trans
dating like just straight women, you know, good enough, but it's not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just find it's. I don't know, not that I'm looking to date again, but I'm like, but just in general, I'm just like, where do I even look? What would I do?
You don't look, you just wait.
Yeah.
Until they cross your path.
That usually happens, but it's in my head, I'm like, do I want to still be in this queer community, which I have been for so long, so I don't even know how to get out of it if I wanted to.
You just also you stay and also branch.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going out at like straight bars and stuff like that, it's just like I don't like half the people there, you know, like
Yeah.
and having new guy friends, like I don't like them either because they're kind of just they're idiots,
Yeah.
and then how they treat women
fair.
and how they talk about women. So I'm like, I don't want to be friends with you because you're just. That if they don't know I'm trans, I don't want to hear what you say about women because I was one. And then women
That's
who are
a
like,
hard place
and
to
then
be.
women are just like, you know,
You have that you have that level of knowledge and awakening that they
Yeah.
don't have. They don't
and
have
then
that
women
level
it's
of
like, you know,
empathy.
it's okay, but then it's not okay. Am I not manly enough? And like,
Yeah.
I'm just not used to this. I don't really know because I'm not gay, and I've not been with women. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do with you now. I
Yeah.
mean, like, it's confusing.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that just shows the limits of our language and the limits like
Yeah.
if I say I'm a lesbian, like okay, but if I sleep with a dude or practically have a life that looks like a marriage
Yeah.
realistically, then does that make me any less gay? I don't think
I
so.
don't know. Yeah, but it's like, how do you?
But if
how do
someone
you-
else's definition of being lesbian is different than mine, then I could be bisexual or straight
whatever,
according to their definitions.
but everyone's
so
looking for
it just shows
a
the
label.
limits.
Like, what is
Yeah.
this? Yeah. So, yeah, I think it definitely our language is just hard.
Yeah.
And even if you could be more like, you could be an asshole, but I just don't know the words to say what
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, I don't know.
We need that gender neutral pronoun that's not. I mean, people use they in there, but
I don't know. I hate that because it's a plural
it
thing.
is a plural thing.
It's really. I'm not.
We need a new one. Some people use Z.
I also don't like that either. It's not that I'm like down talking about it.
Yeah.
It's just maybe because I was in school for English literature and it's not grammatically correct, and like I just don't understand. Like I'm like, oh, they are, and I'm like, or they. I'm like, what? You're with other friends? Like, no, it's just
confusing.
you. I'm like, but
But it is what it
it
is.
just. It's just really hard in my brain to like. I just usually just say someone's name instead because it's just
Yeah.
I don't want to insult them,
Yeah.
but I just don't like. I think we just don't like the word
Yeah.
because it
That's
doesn't
fair.
make sense to me.
I know in other cultures, like in the Philippines, they don't have he or she. They just have like you. We're the word what we're talking about that doesn't exist. Other cultures don't even have the he she distinction.
Yeah.
It's just you, that person.
Yeah.
That's there.
It's-
There
yeah.
you. That
So
one.
that's why the people who use they instead. I really just try to say their name instead because
Yeah.
I'll do that because if I say they, I'm like, it's not you and other people. It's just I'll
Yeah.
just say your name because it just yeah. But I mean, actually, if we're just not our coming out stories. I don't want to ask a question like you know about people that gender binary.
Mhm. What about?
How
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about they, them, there? I think it's cool. Like
Yeah.
gender non-conforming.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at the risk of getting too into depth in this conversation, because I do want to move on.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But I think it's awesome. I think if people want to be gender non-conforming, that's totally cool. I think that in our society we have two genders, and I think in my own experience too, I often feel like I'm not necessarily male or female. And,
Yeah.
and I think when we get really down to it and you get really deep within yourself and in your mind and in your brain and in your soul, we're not necessarily gendered. But I think any expression of gender that we do have within our society
Yeah.
is totally valid also. So if I want to be, they're all the expressions
All
of
of
a
them.
person
All of the
are
expressions.
totally valid. I just think that it's unfortunate that our language has that, is the they there. It is unfortunate that it's also a plural, but
Yeah.
that's not I don't think that is to discredit the person who wants that pronoun.
Oh,
it's
no,
to
it's
discredit
fine.
this language as not
That's,
being
I'm
sufficient
not, yeah, I'm saying
for
about that. I'm like,
the
how do I
concepts
say
we
this
need.
nicely and like politely so? It's just,
Yeah.
it's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It is very hard.
But I mean, like, people have to change for
Yeah.
everything.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Davian, for finding me and Allison from our Inconceivable crew. Thank you, Stephanie, for watching, Jacqueline
I can't
as
believe
well.
It went by so
It
fast.
went by so fast. I cannot
Holy
believe
fuck.
we have talked for so long. We are so happy we have Monica Lee from the Monica Lee Band. She's here to play with her ukulele. We are. I was going to show coming out a clip from Inconceivable. We're just going to skip that. Forget it. I'm going to show a quick little scene from Inconceivable. It's 1 minute as we change sets here. It is Down on the Drive, which is Monica Lee's song, which I'm so stoked about. It just shows Rita, the character, hanging out on the drive, whistling at ladies. Next week, we're super excited to have Tessa Ridley, aka Sweetest P. Find her on Instagram. She's a body consciousness, self-care educator, RMT, all about awakening and grounding through the human body. We are going to talk about awakening, what that means, what her life looks like, and how she got to the point where she has a Instagram following of like 45,000 people.
Holy shit.
Or like, I think it might be more, it's like 100. I don't know, she's got a lot. She's got a huge following.
Well, someone's famous.
And she's awesome. And then we're gonna have a live meditation for a relaxing activity with her name is Pixie. She's gonna lead a meditation. So
Killer.
for now, we have Monica Lee from the Monica Lee Band. Thank you for watching our very first episode of Relaxin' with Rachel. Tune in next week, same time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, in our living room on these galaxy chairs. Thank you so much, Sawyer, for joining us. That was so wonderful. Can I give you a hug? Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you to everybody watching. If you have any more questions for Sawyer, feel free to still use the comments. He can still
definitely,
respond
yeah. I'll
while
answer it, for
we're
sure.
hanging out with Monica. Otherwise, enjoy the next 15 minutes. Just let your brain turn off. Allow yourself to receive what Monica has to give, because it is so much and it is so wonderful, and I'm so happy that she's...
Living alone in the city was the first step towards my dream life.
Everyone singing, everyone dancing down on the drive. I feel like I am so alive. Down on the drive, I think I might go out tonight. Down on the drive tonight. Oh, 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 oh. Down on the drive. Oh, 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 oh. Down on the drive. Oh, 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 oh. Down on the drive. Down on the drive tonight, tonight. Oh, 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 oh. Everyone walking, everyone talking. Down on the drive. I gotta go and see what's happening. Down on the drive. Won't you wait when you see me coming? Down on the drive tonight. Oh, 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 oh. Down on the drive. Oh, 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 oh. Down on the drive. Oh, 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 oh. Down on the drive. Down on the drive tonight, tonight. Oh, oh, oh. What if I see you passing me one day? Will you stop and say, hello, my dear, let's go have a coffee. It's time for you and me to get happy. Oh, down on the drive. Down on the drive. Down on the drive. Down on the drive.
There we go. How do I remove the comments off? I know, but their comments are still
Let me.
they're on my face. I'll get out of your way. That's right. Hello.
I'm back again.
So you're nice to meet you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. See when we start.
There you go.
The room off.
When we start.
Nothing.
Okay, you guys are on. You're live.
Hello. This is Monica Lee from the Monica Lee Band.
Whoa, what an awesome chair.
Thank you for being here.
I'm just gonna relax right here. Wow.
We're gonna relax in the
I'm gonna relax in
relaxing,
this chair here.
relax in the relaxing galaxy chair.
The Galaxy chair is awesome. I love it. So, some relaxing music, I guess. See?
Pretend there's the fires burning behind us.
Crackle,
Yeah,
crackle,
I'm gonna
baby.
look
It's
up
not
there.
crackle
I'm gonna
pop.
find a crackle on my phone.
Some scrap crackle. So, I was trying to think what would be a good song to play for you guys, and I have to sit on this relaxing chair.
Do you want the stool? You can have any other
Oh,
kind of
that's
chair.
good.
if you want it.
Good. So I have this little song. So it could
Song.
be about my lesbian lover, or it could be about my dealer, or it could be about both. I guess you get to decide.
That would be an awesome combo.
I love
If
that.
there is, if there is a lesbian dealer out there, I will date you. That's the only
I'm
qualification.
intrigued. I'm intrigued. I like this.
Wherever you are, call me. Okay.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm gonna just check my tuning. So I got myself this little tuner. Oh yeah, I was outside in the backyard and it's really hot out. So this ukulele got all heated up.
Got the crackling.
And
going.
when you heat up instruments, it tends to change pitch. Or cool down, whichever way you wanna mess with it. Okay, here we go. I missed you again, Amelia. I missed you again. I'd really like you to come see me. Why won't you come to me? I missed you again, Amelia. I meant to come by. I'm pining for you, and it feels like a crime. We'll have to do this another time. Oh, you know what I want. Oh, you know what I need. Amelia, won't you please? Oh, jeez. Won't you please come over and visit me? I want you again, Amelia. The timing just never seems right. 2 weeks and 2 days since I seen ya. I can't miss you again tonight. Oh, you know what I want. Oh, you know what I need, Amelia. Won't you please come over and visit me, Amelia, Amelia. Amelia, Amelia. Oh, you know what happened is I went and changed the keys on this, and it's making me crazy. Shouldn't have done that. Let's not messing this around. Oh, where are we? I'm so sorry. Oh, you know what I want. Oh, you know what I need. Amelia, won't you please come over and visit me? I'll always come back, Amelia, back to your secret house. You've drawn me in and become my friend. In no time I'll have missed you again. Oh, Amelia. Oh, Amelia. Oh, you know what I want. Oh, you know what I need. Amelia, won't you please come over and visit me? Well, thanks again, Amelia, 'cause now my jar is full. If anyone asks, I'm critically ill. 'Cause this shit is medicinal. Oh, you know what I want. Oh, you know what I need. Amelia, won't you please come over and visit me?
That was so lovely.
Oh, sorry about that mess up.
Can we make requests?
Sure.
Can you play Wine and Chocolate?
Yes. All right. So my coming out is that today's my 10-year anniversary
What?
with my husband, and we were together for 3 years before that, so 13 years. And like about 2 months ago, we got 2 houses.
Yay!
Yay! And
Co-parenting.
Co-parenting, and we're going out for our anniversary after this. So like,
Amazing.
you know,
You know what?
you can do it
Life
all.
is messy. You can do it all.
You can do
just,
it. We're
you just have
good.
to be okay with mess.
We're okay. And so when we first decided to do it, I had this fabulous opportunity to go and house sit for a friend out at the Deer Lake Mansion. So I had like multiple fireplaces and 7 bedrooms to myself. And I wrote this little song.
And a baby.
Today my age.
Stayed in the house.
Oh my gosh. I was just watching him. He's grown so much.
So much.
So much. Okay, here, let's see.
Am I allowed to show boob on TV? Is that allowed?
I'm so happy.
So happy.
That's what this song's about, baby. Being happy. Wine and chocolate, that's all I need. Makes a woman happy. On this we agree. Wine and chocolate makes me feel good at the end of the day. Does what it should. Oh, so happy. Everything is sweet and tacky. Oh, wine and chocolate, worth every cent. Wine and chocolate, money well spent.
I love that song.
Oh, thank you.
Did you write Amelia too?
Yeah, I wrote Amelia, but I keep changing
So these
keys.
are
It
both-
sounds really different when I sing it really high.
Both of these are original songs by this woman here.
Yeah.
So talented, so understated.
But you were talking about being relaxed, and
Yeah.
I thought maybe I could do Postal
I'm
Service
relaxing
song or
right
Iron
now.
and Wine, Iron and Wine version of Postal Service song.
Excellent.
Such Great Heights, you know that song? It's such a good song. Why does my ukulele sound like it's not right? It's very strange.
Is the crackling too loud, Joel?
Is that the fire crackling?
Yeah.
Oh, you're the funniest.
It's next to the microphone. Do you see that?
Oh, I see. You're so sneaky.
So sneaky. Gotta add to the ambiance. The cat's coming to join us. She's like, I want in.
I'm thinking it's a sign that the freckles in our eyes are mirror images, and when we kiss, they're perfectly aligned. I have to speculate. God Himself did make us into corresponding shapes like puzzle pieces from the clay. True, may seem like a stretch. Those thoughts like this that catch my troubled head when you're away, and I am missing you to death. When we're out there on the road, several weeks of shows, and when you scan the radio, hope this song will guide you home. They will see us waiting from such great heights. Come down now, they'll say. Everything looks perfect from far away. Come down now, I will say. I try my best to leave a song on your machine, but the persistent beat it sound within a phone. Listening that frankly will not fly. You'll hear the shrillest highs and lowest lows with the windows down, and this will guide you home. They will see us waving from such great heights. Come down now, they'll say that everything looks perfect from far away. Come down now, they'll say that they will see us waving from such great heights. Come down now, they'll say everything looks perfect from far away. Come down now, we'll say.
Amazing.
I love that line. It says everything looks perfect from far away. It's like, we aren't exactly what we appear to be always.
So true.
Yeah, and the happiest people, are they? Are they just really good
How
actors?
happy you are. Like, and they look so happy on Facebook. I'm like, oh, I'm doing things. All my friends. Like, I'm home alone.
Totally.
You never know.
I was away on Salt Spring a couple weeks ago, and I was like out in this little like green meadow with like green forest around me, and I was like laying there, and I was like imagining what my life right that moment looked like if I were a bird, and like I tried to draw it, but it was such an interesting exercise to be like, even like when things aren't perfect, you can like go somewhere else in your mind and like
Yeah,
see your whole life from
from another.
a neutral perspective.
Yeah. What do you think? You want another song?
Yeah, we definitely want to end with smoking.
Okay, so we could. We do Jolene. Yeah. Okay, good. You have to sing with me. Sing. Jolene, 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 I'm begging you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 oh please don't take him just because you can. Your beauty is beyond compare with flaming locks and auburn hair and ivory skin, eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, and your voice is like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. And I could easily understand how you could easily take my man, but you don't know what it means to me, Jolene. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 oh please don't take him even though you can. I had to have this talk with you. My happiness depends on you. Whatever you decide to do, Jolene. And you could have your choice of men, but I can never love again, 'cause he's the only one for me, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 oh please don't take him even though you can. Jolene, Jolene. Oh, thanks.
Oh, yeah. I feel more relaxed. I had beer on the patio.
Ah,
Ah,
well,
alrighty.
congratulations. A great first show, you guys.
Thank you.
Fabulous conversation.
Is it still rolling? Is it
Yeah?
I think so.
Just checking.
So I'm just saying that that I was watching.
Do you want to do smoking?
Smoking?
Yeah. Then we'll call it a day.
Ah.
We don't have to.
No, it's time. No, it's time to take a load on. You know it's time. You know it's time to blow some smoke. 'Cause I woke up with the light to spare like unwashed hair. Coffee wash me so I can look in the mirror. Oh, Mercury retrograde, nothing's going my way. Just so happens today's my birthday. You know it's time. You know it's time. You know it's time to take a load on. You know it's time. You know it's time. You know it's time to blow some smoke. 'Cause yeah, I broke up with my man. He was dragging me back. We still live together. That month lasted forever. Now that he's gone, he's acting all nice. He bought me a birthday present. Well, if he'd done that sooner, I could have been his wife. You know it's time. You know it's time. You know it's time to take a load on. You know it's time. You know it's time. You know it's time to blow some smoke. Sometimes I smoke when I'm happy. Sometimes I smoke when think my life's on some kind of girl. Nothing is right. Everything is wrong. And what did I do to have to write this song? You know it's time.
You know it's
You know
time.
it's time, time to take a load off. You know it's time.
You know it's time.
You know it's time to blow some smoke off.
Thank you. Thank you.